Hey there, guys. Welcome to episode 4 of my week in review. All right, this week, as you may well know, was school holidays here in the UK. So I had my kids with us most of the week. But I did still get in quite a bit of gaming. I did 15 games this week, starting off with my usual Risk Legacy group on the Wednesday. We started off with game 6, which was actually quite funny. It lasted, I would say, roughly about 5 minutes, as I won on the first turn before two guys even had a go. It was one of those crazy moments. Oh, by the way, this is going to have spoilers, so if you haven't played Risk Legacy and you don't want to see any of this, or hear any of this, you might want to switch off now. But it was one of those fortuitous moments where everything aligned perfectly. As you can see by these pictures, the first player went, he took over the whole of North America. And then the second player went, and he took over the whole of Europe and attacked the North American player in Greenland to get a card. The next card that came out was Russia, which is where the European player's capital was based. And the mission we had for that particular game was, if you take a card that has 4 coins or more on it, you would gain the world capital, which happened to be the one that was on Russia. So I marched all the way from Argentina all the way through to Russia, took Russia, which gave me my second victory point, and then of course the world capital was worth 2 victory points on its own. So there we go, won game 6 with before 2 people even had a go. So naturally we just repacked quickly and then started game 7. And game 7 was quite funny as well because the 3 missiles were played in the same fight, and you can see by this picture, it literally was played on the the only entry into Australia. So the Australian player, Kelty, was completely blocked off. If he wanted to leave Australia, he would have to march through that barren zone. Which, if you don't know, you take half. Like, if you go in there with 6 troops, you'll lose 3 of them just by going through there. So that was pretty bad, which was quite good and funny as well. Because if you can tell by the map, Africa is completely nuked as well. So the game has become very tight with Australia being blocked off. Africa not very no one really wants to go in Africa because you don't get a lot for it and it takes a lot of your troops. So anyway, we played both of those games. I won 1, Phil won 1. He stole the game 7 off me. And then just to finish off the night, as I introduced them to a new game every time we meet up, I showed them King of New York this time. They all enjoyed it. As you can imagine, King of New York is a great game. Really easy to go with. So I think the Kong won that one. I'll show you. I had Captain Fish with the Superstar on Broadway. That was quite fun. So on Wednesday, that was Wednesday. On the Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, my kids wanted to have a game night. So we invited my friend John around, and we played some games. So first of all, because my young one is only 4 years old, we played some of his games first. I'd like to show you them. So we played 10 green bottles, which is literally just you get these bottles, you look for a tile. If you get the same number, so if you flip over a tile that's 3 and you've got a bottle of 3, you then shove it through the waste recycle box, and the first one to clear out all the bottles is the winner. It's a nice little fun game for the kids to learn with. And then we played 2 games of Jelly Elephants after that. It's a sort of a mix and match sort of game. I like these type of little sort of games just to teach the young ones with. It grooms them into the future of other board games and things like that. As my oldest one, he started off with these games, and now he's 8 years old and plays most of the games that I play perfectly fine. As you can see, we started after that. The young one went to bed, and we played Superstar Showdown as a tag team match. So it was me and John against Alex and Carla. I gotta admit, I like Superstar Showdown, but as a tag team, it's not that great. I mean, for most of the game, the person who's not in the ring just sits there and watches. So I wouldn't suggest it as a tag team. But on the flip side of that, when we were playing, it came out very thematic. Like I was watching an episode of WWE, as I was playing the Big Show, and I was wailing on the John Cena for pretty much most of the game. Giving him loads of damage, and then he tagged out, who was Carla playing? Was it Randy Orton? He tagged out Randy Orton, and then she immediately jumped into the ring, smacked me in the face, and pinned me. Game over. Done. So that was quite fun. Then we played Titanium Wars, obviously. I played Titanium Wars with my son last weekend, and he wanted to play it again. I wasn't gonna say no because I really liked Titanium Wars. So we played that, and it was a little longer than the previous games I've played actually because the fights lasted a bit longer, and the planets were spread around. I mean, John won a planet, Carla won a planet, and Alex won 2 planets, which obviously got him the victory. I again didn't win any planets, as I think I'm maybe a bit too gung ho on my tactics. But yeah, it was good, and they really enjoyed it. That was a little fun little evening to play with the family. Really enjoy these sort of evenings where we just, just play games as a family. Groom my own little board game group, if you like. On the Saturday, as is the case on the weekends, I have people coming in and out of my house. It's like some sort of gaming commune. We had the Knights turn up, and Phil's a friend of mine, but he's a really light gamer. So we had Molo turn up as well, and he brought his Lost Woods with. So I thought I'd play that with Phil and also Alex. And Phil really enjoyed that, and he won as well, which is typical. But it was good again. I mean, it's such a light game. It's nothing really to write home about. But when you're in a situation like that, where you got friends who aren't dedicated gamers like I am, or like children and stuff, this game works perfectly fine, and did. They both enjoyed it, and me and Molo had a good time as well, so it was pretty good. When Phil and them left, Molo taught me how to play Frostgrave. I've been wanting to play this for a while. Picked up the rulebook, started working on a plan on how to get a warband together, and I was just going through the motions really. We weren't starting off a campaign or anything like that. It was just going through the rules and things like that. So we just laid out some quick terrain, had a game, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, really easy. I think there's a lot of potential in this, and I'm really looking forward to playing this some more. So then later in the evening, when Mick and Ash arrived, we started off with King's Pouch. King's Pouch is a bag builder that I picked up off one of the trade sites. I was really happy about it because I love the bag builders, Hyperborea and those type of things, and Orleans, and so I was really looking forward to trying this as a 4-player because I've only played this as a 2-player before, and I think it worked really well. It was really interesting some of the flow of the game where, like, I went for a bit of a military in the beginning, but then I changed into a more religious route in the end. Ashen went for a very economic route, and Mick went sort of straight military. I'm not really sure what Molo was doing in the beginning, but then he went onto a military route towards the end. And I was in the lead for probably most of the game, and I just managed to keep that lead all the way through to victory, so that was pretty cool. I'd have to do a video for this soon, because I really enjoyed this, it was good. We did, however, do after that, we did a video for Elysium from Space Cowboys. And that was really good as well. Obviously, I loaded up the video a couple of days ago, so you can go check that out. But I really enjoyed that. It was really good. I think this is one of those Marmite games where you either like it or you don't. Everyone at the table did like it, so that was good. I'm happy to play that whenever anyone wants to play, because it's just a fun, interesting game. Quite heavy, actually. It's a lot heavier than it looks. Then on the Sunday, my kids and I played King of New York again. Such an easy game to get into. So we played that, and then D and Swampy turned up, and we had a game of Zombicide using the Prison Outbreak box set. And that was actually really good. I really like Zombicide a lot. I mean, most of the games I play of that are really sort of, down to the wire. You always feel under pressure. You feel like you're running against the tide, sort of thing, which is really good. I really enjoy that in games. And this one was no different. So I'll show you some pictures here. Some really interesting moments happened. We really enjoyed it. Picked up some interesting weapons and things. It was a really good game. And we just managed to pull out a win on the last sort of moment. Bear managed to take out one of the zombies and complete the objective, which was brilliant. So victory for us. But straight after that, we played 4-player Legendary. Legendary is I love Legendary, but it's one of the interesting games where I feel the more players you have, the more difficult it is, which is interesting. We played the villains version, and we were fighting against Nick Fury, and we had the selection of villains, as you can see here. But it was tough, really tough. I mean, every time we thought we were getting ahead, just getting to the point where we can actually do something, we would get demolished and have our hands discarded, most of our cards discarded, or, we get to points where we can't actually fight anyone, so the game dragged out quite a bit, to the point where we couldn't defeat Nick Fury enough. I think we had 1 or 2 commander cards left to defeat before we ran out of heroes in the city. So that game ended in a draw. It was still good. I still enjoyed it. It was tough. It was really tough. So that's the games I played this week. Like I said, 15 games played altogether. I think my game of the week would have to be Zombicide. Really, really enjoyed that. I mean, it's such a stellar game when you think of the components are really good, and when you've got such simple gameplay, but it creates a good atmosphere, and I really enjoyed it. So we go. That's the games for the week. Now we move on to my painting. Obviously, I didn't get a lot of painting done this week again, mainly due to the fact that obviously it was school holidays, so the kids were always around doing stuff. Um, Sorry about that. But I did get a few things done. Obviously, I played the Frostgrave game, and what I tried to do is I got a Roman here painted, which is from Godslayer, from Megalith Games. So what I'm trying to do here is build a Necromancer warband from my Godslayer warband, so I can just paint one warband and then use it for both games. So this was my tester model, which is the first model I painted for that warband. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I mean, I think there's a few things I still want to change, but so far that's what it looks like. Then I also finished off some more figures for Selwyn on room 25. I think I'll have that done by next week. And of course, my obligatory Imperial Assault update. I painted some more of the heroes. These ones are not having the custom bases, they just want the plain black bases on these ones, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I got those 4 of those heroes done. I think for that set, I've only got 2 Nexucats and a few of the other heroes left to do. And then of course I did 2 more Dungeon Saga figures, which were the zombies, 2 zombies. Well, they could be ghouls as well, I'm not 100% sure. But they were done, and then you can see this is how the whole set looks so far that I've painted. Obviously I'm working on the last 2 zombies for next week, and then I'll start moving on to some of the other stuff, maybe the big zombie trolls or things like that. So that's my week in review for painting and gaming. I got one last thing to mention. I belong to this Facebook page, obviously on Facebook, called the Board Game Trading and Chat EU UK. And I just wanted to mention something on there I thought it was really fantastic, and I think it was worth mentioning. One of the guys on there got sort of burned by a trade. He organized a trade and then didn't get what he wanted. And obviously that happens anywhere. I mean, you can't always account for everything. But what I liked about it was, after the trade had been done, one of the other members managed to organize, and I might butcher your name here, sorry, Joy, but he organized that everyone can just maybe pitch in with £1 or so, and just basically replace the game for him, which I thought was excellent. It's a really great communal thing to do, and loads of people then decided to chip in from the group, and I think it was easily, even one of the guys who owned Dave Salisbury, who owns Fanboy 3, he was willing to get the game cheap as well. So, you know, combined with that and all the money that was donated, it was a brilliant gesture. And then, of course, the guy himself decided, instead of taking the money or the game, he would then donate the money to a charity, a hospital charity, which I thought was brilliant. And I thought that was worth mentioning. I mean, that's such a great communal thing. This is what makes board gaming and the hobby we are in such a great thing. I mean, you've got great games, great people, and it's just a fantastic moment. And I say top notch to you guys. Well, there you go. That's my week in review. Thanks for watching and listening. And I'll be back with more video game videos and stuff later in the week. And then another review next week.